I was like, oh, my foot rolling video is doing so well. It's like this one really taking off. And then I looked up what people were searching up, and it was like foot tickling and foot fetish.
Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we're super excited to have a special guest, Genieve Burley from Mobilization Nation and other. So you do other.
Et al.
We're excited because Genieve was one of our very first clients at Pivot and Pilot, and that was when you were mainly doing your chiropractic practice. But Genieve's a wellness expert and guru just generally, and I feel like everything that you do is under that window, but you're an influencer, you do yoga, you do many other workouts. You've invented the blueprint, which was one of your classes that you taught for a while.
You teach the class by Taryn Toomey as well. There's just so much that you do, and it's all within, like Rebecca said, wellness.
Yes, and now there's this latest journey that you're on, which is Mobilization Nation.
Yes.
And so what is it that brought you to Mobilization Nation? I know it's probably a whole lifelong journey here.
Yeah, well, and I'm so grateful to you guys. These guys are amazing. I can't say enough about them because they really are able to kind of distill me and my many ideas into like, okay, we got to focus into, one main area or one main concept, and that's not easy to do, especially when you have a brain like me. So you guys really help me too. I still don't think I have an elevator speech, and that's okay.
Right.
But really, I've had the fortune of being a chiropractor and also being a movement expert by teaching yoga and different classes for now 16 years. And finally I just thought, well, this is unique, right? Like some people are just a chiropractor or a physiotherapist, and then some people are movement teachers, but to have them both and to have them both for so long, I mean, there's got to be one advantage to aging, right? I've been here for a while, is that I wanted to offer this. And the pandemic was a time to really think, okay, well, there's going to be things that happen in life, and what is a pivot that I could do here, and also to help people at home. So the idea is really anti-aging from the inside out. So not as much of the external, which is going to be a side benefit. When you're well, your skin is going to be better, everything will radiate from that, but that your joints are moving well and that your brain is staying connected to movement.
Mm-hmm. It just makes you frame your mindset differently when you're working out.
Yes.
To not just be about losing weight,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe getting a six-pack or something like that. I think it's always been, I definitely found that my thought process around why I was exercising changed too. And I feel like that's really coming through in your channel, because it's not just about exercises and stretches. It's actually a lot about your philosophy and approach to well-being, right? So
I love that you talk a lot about preventive and prevention, and how that is more of it should be the angle of how we approach everything from nutrition to things like exercise. And I think that overall, culturally, we're all changing to that mindset. We should treat the actual root of the problem rather than just the symptoms of things. Mm-hmm. So can you talk a little bit more about that and your approach to that?
Yeah, I mean, preventative health it's very hard in your 20s to think really about preventative health, because when you're 20, you have definitely a very limited view of what it's going to feel like when you're 40 or 50 or 60.
And sometimes you don't even know it's going to happen to you.
It's not, I think it's evolutionarily, 20-year-olds are meant to go out and make love and have children. And so it's all about mating and being confident and so, we are very much about external outcome measures in our 20s, because it's how we're attracting a mate or a partner. Right. But the truth is that it is in our 20s that we want to start thinking, like our bone density, we want to make sure that we're eating a good diet and doing exercise so that we're putting, I want to say stress, but I mean a positive stress on the body so that the body maintains a certain bone density, because we know that the bone we lay down up to the age of 26 is going to be a very good indicator of our bone mass when we're older. Right. And I think that the next generation is getting that, actually, that sunscreen is going to be good if you don't want to have a lot of sunspots, and smoking is going to be also hard on your body and your organs. So preventative health, I think, is also a very big thing in this pandemic, which we're experiencing right now, because I think the government's really had a loss of not reminding people of how to stay healthy, mentally well and physically well, because the truth is most of us probably will be exposed to COVID, and wouldn't you want to be in the healthiest state you possibly could if and when that should happen?
Definitely a more reactive system than the preventative one that we're in. That must be the gap you're seeing and filling, right?
Yeah.
I love that perspective of like in your 20s you have different priorities, and I do feel like people in their 20s are starting to get more education because of accessible methods like YouTube and everything like that. What kind of audience are you seeing drawn to your videos? Is it just all different ages or?
Okay, well this is something I don't even think I've told you guys. It's amazing. Truth be told, this is the hard thing because I have taken a course that you recommended to me on YouTube, and it's like narrow your niche market. And the thing is, I really do believe that I want to be there from the age of 2 to 92. Maybe 93. I'm not excluding those guys. But what I'm seeing on my videos is very interesting. My number one video is stretches for active adolescents. Okay. So it's actually made me think about, parents and adolescents that are interested in starting to take care of their kids at an earlier age. And especially because when I grew up, it wasn't the technology like now. Like we had computers, but they would be the size of this room and putting off a lot of heat. Anyways, but
only some people had them.
Yeah, exactly.
Only the wealthy.
Now they're all in our pocket.
They're like, in 10 years they're going to be in our body. Hopefully not. But kids are exposed to postural stress that at 20 years ago only adults were. So there needs to be a new response to the technology and the postural stress that kids are under now. And then my funny story is that I was like, oh, my foot rolling video's doing so well. It's like this one really taking off. And then I looked up what people were searching up, and it was like foot tickling and foot fetish. So I guess whatever gets us there, right?
It's all about the clicks.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see a whole foot series.
It's gonna be a big foot series.
She's gonna be wearing a harness next
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Stretch it.
Help for your wearing heels.
Yeah. Wearing heels.
I think that it's something that we talk to a lot of people, and when they're about to launch, it's like the best time to learn is while you're doing it.
Yes.
Like you never know until you're already out there and like learning from that experience. And it's interesting you say that you found that there's a lot of parents looking for, and it just goes to show too that maybe there is a niche there, right? Like there is a need for parents, because they're like, oh my gosh, I've gone through my 20s and I wish I had done certain things at my young age to prevent things that I'm probably dealing with now, and maybe they want that for their kids. Yeah. It makes so much sense.
What I'm learning from this, and this is literally an application I'm taking away this weekend because I'm going to do some more adolescent videos, is maybe that's the way I get a bigger audience. And then once mom is looking for stretches for computer stress for an adolescent, she's like, oh, but my mom is really having hip pain and I just found a hip pain video. So maybe I do access that 2 to 92 by finding a niche that might be not what I intended in the beginning, but I'm going to keep providing the content for all of the ages.
Yeah, and I mean, side note, definitely comment below if there's a video of any of these ideas really resonate with you, because I think Genieve would love to know.
I would love to know. I'm looking for that. I've had some really cute comments, but someone's like, oh, someone made a comment. I'm like, yeah, that was my husband. So, I would love comments.
What a babe.
But there are videos that are really taking off. That's hilarious with the foot one. But there's, you're getting subscribers. You do have your following from Instagram, although they are very different. We're finding that too. They're separate audiences that we're getting from both, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I was wondering about when you first put that first step towards, we may have been one of the first people that you told, I don't know if that's true, but when you're like, I want to start this YouTube channel, from your first shoot to now, what do you feel like you've learned the most?
It was really daunting to me.
Yeah.
It was really, that I put pause on it a couple times because I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I think it's because I had a lot going on in my life. But now that I'm actually in the process, I'm excited about it and I feel really comfortable with what I'm doing. And we did very professional branding and worked with a videographer in the beginning. But I'm actually really comfortable now, knowing what I want to do. I can put the beginning slide and the thumbnail. It's empowering when you finally get the hang of something, and then you're like, you know, why? Yeah, I have something to offer. Why don't I do it? You know, and I'm not really like. Of course, I would love it to be really successful, and I would never say otherwise. It'd be nice to get monetized so that the investment I've made on this is returned.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, maybe if there's someone at home at pain and I've been able to access them, and I don't ever find out about it, it's still something energetically in the world that I'm happy and proud of.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really what it has to be.
Yeah.
Because if you were just chasing the numbers and wanting to get monetized right away, it would be very distressing. And I don't know if your videos would have that unique
authentic
quality.
Yes.
They're very unique. Everything is very, very thoughtful. I loved I don't know if it was too recent, but I feel like it was within this month. There was like how to maintain motivation.
Yes.
That one was really good.
Thank you.
I feel like it's not just about anti-aging from within and mobility and retaining mobility, but also about how your mind-body connection works. Because some people don't have that. When did you find that connection?
You know, it probably, I had a postpartum depression, which I'm very open about. And in healing that, I kind of had to look back at my whole life and how my brain had been operating. So I would say that was the open door. And since then, there's nothing that's separate. Your brain and your body are intimately connected. There's no separation of it.
Right.
So if one is unhealthy, the other one will be, and vice versa. Like there's no separation.
And when you think of that person that you're helping, when you're creating this content, who are you thinking about? Is it inspiration from your clients, like that you're actually meeting in person? Yeah. Is that
and it's also I take a lot of inspiration of how I would want to be spoken to or with.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anyone who's inauthentic or false in any way and would pretend that life is easy, because there's no one is, some people have much easier lives than others. But I don't think there's anyone who doesn't experience down periods, anxiety in some way, like grief and loss, fear. This is part of the human experience. So in that way, we're all connected. And what I want to connect with is people who might feel isolated or alone in that experience.
Right.
And I think there's a connection to body ableism as well, and feeling a certain way too. Like you said, the mind and body are connected, and it goes both ways. If you're like depressed or anxious, then your body will feel it. Also, if you have mobility issues, then it goes back to your mind, course. Right? It's both.
Yeah. I also want to kind of start to really allow people to identify where they have a story around something, because what I see a lot in my patients is like, I'm had a car accident 5 years ago, and this is the story. I'm always going to have neck pain. I'm always going to, and it doesn't mean that it's not true that there's still not neck pain for them or something, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to be true. And a lot of the time I feel what it can be dangerous in any type of healthcare is giving someone a diagnosis, because people adopt it, they take it, you're the expert, especially with a medical doctor, you're the expert, and it's not always right. In fact, all of us are doing our best, given your history and your exam, to give you a diagnosis. And I'm going to say that the possibility that we're exactly accurate in the best case scenario is 60% without, every test in the book. So, I think it worries me that people get given a diagnosis, you had an ACL tear, you're never going to run again. Not true.
Right.
And it's unfortunate if you get someone who tells you something and then the story sticks.
Right. And then it's in your mindset.
Yeah.
And you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's also just a pill, right?
Yeah.
That's given to them as their only option, and that's definitely where your videos will come in, and your practice. I mean, the thing is, you've only been able to reach people in the city of Vancouver, right? And now you're going to be able to reach everyone. I was wondering, do you feel is the biggest issue facing your patients today? What's like the most common problem that you're seeing in people? I mean, it's been a crazy year.
I can say, like, unequivocally, it is stress. Like, stress, and whether the stress that is affecting the body from somebody losing a job, or somebody not seeing a parent, or somebody worried about one end of the spectrum or the other end of the spectrum. Relationships have been in stress, both romantic and friendships. People who have children have been stressed. I've never seen the amount of anxiety that I have in the past year and a half. and what I'm finding in the bodies is a reflection of what we're all holding.
Right.
But it's also been such a gift to me that I get to be maybe one of the only people that people have seen for months, you know, and to get safe touch on their bodies and a place where they can talk and express how their body's manifesting the stress.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for coming, by the way.
Yes.
What can we expect from Mobilization Nation in the next months here?
My goodness. Well, I am creating more space to create more videos, and what I would really like to do is exactly like you spoke about, getting like things in the comments and continuing to see what my patients are experiencing and delivering that in terms of the release videos. And my main thing is I want to get more of the workout videos up. So
yeah,
I think it's been a stressful beginning of like this fall season for me, and I just needed to like, okay, I got my stuff together.
Yes.
I'm ready now. So I feel like that's on the weekend plans, is more workouts and then just more requests.
It's almost like when you start something new, just like learning a music or something like that, you first have to learn to read music, and then you can play and create, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you did create from the start, but I feel like those first sets of videos were your starting point, and then now you're gonna get really creative and start to really play around with what you're doing. I'm really excited to see. What a joy knowing you. Genieve was one of our first clients, and as you probably saw in one of our other videos, you'll have to check it out if you didn't, but we started our business in our early 20s, and it was a time
they were just out of school.
Yeah, we were just out of school.
Genieve gave us a chance. She was like, I'll trust these kids.
Yeah. And she took us seriously. We were presenting to her in her chiropractic clinic in her room. We didn't have an office yet, on our little laptop, and she was just so encouraging and lovely, and then referred us to tons of people, and we've gone on your amazing Tulum retreat.
Which is coming back.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, definitely check out Genieve's website and you'll see that she has some more trips coming up and retreats happening, which would be they're amazing. It was I don't know what you can.
They're like a complete reset. That's like, I think a reset is the right word to describe them. It's like, it's everything that your plan is for you to feel that every single need that your body needs and your mind needs are being, it's almost like a reset.
Yeah.
And they also can act as a romantic getaway.
Yep. There are some perks, extra perks.
Not for me if Bo's watching.
It's been awesome knowing you, and this was a great interview, and we're so excited to see what comes next. Everybody, make sure you follow and subscribe to Genieve's channel. She also has a great Instagram account and posts on that quite a bit.
We'll leave everything down below. If you have any comments, any suggestions for what Genieve should talk about in her next videos, please do so. Thank you so much for watching, and see you the next time.
Bye.